Well, from the very start, nearly 65 years ago, Church World Service has had really two big priorities. The first is to eradicate hunger and poverty around the world. The second, and equally important, is to assist refugees and other forcibly displaced people. We take seriously the faith mandate that is summed up in Matthew 25, to feed the hungry and to welcome the stranger. Unfortunately, we live in the midst of a world where millions of people are on the move, some by choice, some under duress, but most out of dire life and death circumstances. Many perceive the United States as the best or perhaps the only choice available to them. And I think basically they want to make a better life for themselves and for their families, as have millions of immigrants to our shores from past eras. But for many, our country's broken immigration system forces them to choose between feeding their children and crossing a border illegally. And this is despite the fact that U.S. agriculture and even industry need their labor. The current immigration process doesn't have enough visas for them. Visa backlogs also separate family members, forcing many to wait decades to be reunited. Reaching a point of desperation, many risk their lives to cross the desert, where unfortunately hundreds of them die every year. Those who make it into the United States, well, they live in constant fear of deportation and exploitation. And how our nation chooses to respond to this growing challenge is clearly one of the great moral issues of our time. Draconian measures like those enacted in Arizona, I simply find that they're not the solution. What we need in the United States is fair, humane, federal immigration reform. And, my New Year's resolution for immigration reform simply is to help build welcoming communities. Personally, I'm going to call my senators and U.S. representatives and urge them to enact the DREAM Act, the Reuniting Families Act, and other reforms to improve conditions in immigration detention facilities, treat all workers with dignity and respect, and provide a pathway to legal status for undocumented immigrants. In my view, Congress also needs to address the root causes of migration, such as trade policies, development initiatives, and international relationships that create hunger and poverty, causing individuals and families the need to migrate. Jesus said that whatever we do for others, we also do for Him. So how can we continue to ignore the effects our laws have on our neighbors?